Yes, indeed. Welcome into another episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel. That over there is at Mr. Jared Moore. I am at Pucking Thoughts, Adam Bernard, and it's another week, week of ripping cards here on Rip N Riff. We are officially out of football season for a little while. We are right in the throngs of hockey season, spring training, and NBA and college hoops. So still a pretty good time of the year here.
I just realized 72 episodes in that you start every one of them with yes indeed.
Yeah. Part of the thing.
I never noticed that until today. So I don't know if that just means that I'm totally not listening to you, because once you did that and my dumb brain put two and two together, I didn't listen to a single word you said after it. Something about we're doing a show today or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited to be here, Adam.
I'm very proud of you, Jared. I mean, when you make those connections, it makes me feel good. You know, it's like when you see you help your daughter out with her homework and oh, she gets something. Same thing here. It's a good feeling.
Yes, I also have the brain of a 7-year-old, so I'm good.
Yeah, there you go. So we're gonna go around the world today. I got an old football pack, an old basketball pack. Jared's got some 2023 baseball. Let's just go right to the pack ripping lineup here. And yeah, I got 2002 Topps NFL. You see David Carr, rookie, potentially a Jeremy Shockey, Dwight Freeney, Clinton Portis, Ricky Williams, Ed Reed, Julius Peppers. Not a bad class there. And you see some of the sets, parallels, all that other stuff. And then we haven't done basketball in a while, so I'm bringing that one back today. We got a 94-95 Topps basketball here, Series 1. Looking at maybe a Jason Kidd rookie, Eddie Jones, Grant Hill, Charlie Ward, the Heisman winner, or Juwan Howard. And yeah, but spring training, we are in full force here. Alex Bregman has hit his first home run as a Red Sox. What do you got there with the 2023 Bowman Platinum?
Yeah, I mean, you see the rookies on the screen there. I guess out of that list, like Corbin Carroll, maybe Mark Vientos, since he's a prominent New York player. Tristan Casas is on the Red Sox, so there's some interesting rookies there. I'm excited for these. The Bowman Platinum cards should. I don't think these are quite the Chrome cards that I was expecting when I ordered the pack, but I'm still excited to see what we got here. And it's only 4 cards per pack, so we can go through a bunch of packs really quickly and then save the rest of the box for a rainy day.
Now, before we get into pack ripping here, I don't really have a quote unquote rip and rant for today.
Yeah, I was going to ask, because we talked pre-show and we mentioned nothing about a rip and rant today.
So, I mean, I have something ready that we can show off in lieu of that, but I do want to talk a little AL East here for a second. It's a 3-dog race with the Yankees, the Orioles, and the Red Sox, or have the Orioles lost too much and maybe they're a step behind? Have the Red Sox done enough to maybe close that gap? Like, how are we handicapping the AL East? We know it's not Toronto or Tampa.
I mean, I think the Yankees are going to win the division, and then I would put like the Orioles, Rays, Red Sox like on that next tier somewhere. I'm not sure what the order is necessarily. I do still trust the Orioles position players, and like they're still so young, they could all like just have massive career years this year and just raise the ceiling of that team even higher, even without the level of starting pitching that like a Boston or a Tampa has. But I don't completely trust the Red Sox, and I don't love all the noise we're hearing with the Red Sox in regards to Rafael Devers saying, "Oh well, I'm a third baseman. I'm going to play third base," and the metrics are say, "Yeah, you probably shouldn't be playing third base anymore." There's a reason why we went out and gave Alex Bregman $40 million a year. Like, we should probably play the best player defensively at the position. What a novel concept. But there's that, and then the Rays. Like, I never write the Rays off because they always find a way to sort of like maximize what they have. And they're getting a lot of their starting pitching back that they missed last year, so that like there's a reason to think they would bounce back. But like I think a team like the Rays, like, their ceiling is only so high where they're not going to go out and they're not going to spend $40 million at the trade deadline to upgrade their roster. Like, they're going to make do with what they got. So I view the Yankees as the class of the division, and then those other teams on that next tier, and I think Toronto probably comes in last place.
And don't forget with Tampa too, they're going to be playing half their season at Steinbrenner Field down there, where the Yankees have spring training because they don't have access to the Trop this year due to the hurricane damage. So I mean that sometimes throws a wrench in a season too when you're not really truly home. You know.
Yeah, it'll be nice for him to actually have a full stadium for once.
That's true though. Maybe that's I'm thinking the wrong way about it. Maybe I got to flip it around now that they actually will have crowd support because it's a minor league spring training stadium. Maybe that'll get the place rocking a little bit.
But you know what? That's going to be a miserable experience in the summer. Between the Florida heat in the summer and how much rain, and the fact that it'll just torrentially downpour for, if you've ever been in Florida for more than 5 minutes during the day, you can almost set your watch to that 4 p.m. rainstorm that just comes down and like buckets for 45 minutes. So it's going to be I don't think it's going to be a miserable I don't think it's going to be a good experience for them playing outdoors. I think there's a reason why the Rays and the Marlins both play all their games indoors now.
Yeah, that makes sense there for sure. So there's a little AL East talk here. Before we actually get to ripping cards today, I was just going through some stuff here. I'm trying to reorganize my closet, and I found these really cool, oversized Winter Classic cards from the 2012 that was, in Philadelphia. Let me pull them up on the screen here. You can see the difference in the size of the card there.
So almost like a postcard.
It's like a small postcard. So there. Let me pull this up a little bit so we can get a better view of the whole shebang there. It's a whole set here. I picked these up. I forgot I had gotten them. And there's Claude Giroux.
I was going to say, I can't tell who that player is, but yeah, now you say it's Claude Giroux.
And then we got Mr. Scott Hartnell there. That was one of the better Winter Classics. I got to go to that one. That was a lot of fun. My dad. Here's Braden Shen. That's a cool shot, coming in on Lundqvist right there. Another guy. It must be the same photographer. That guy does Danny Briere on Lundqvist.
Now he's the GM of the team. How about that?
Look at that. I mean, that's why these names stick around. And you got maybe not Brandon Prost. He didn't really stick around. Nor did Maxime Talbot. Mike Rupp still on NHL Network as an analyst. Good for him. Former longtime Devil.
Mike Rupp does a good job on TV. I thoroughly enjoy him.
Speaking of guys on TV, Mr. Ryan Callahan there doing games for ESPN. Let's see.
I find him inoffensive. He's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. He does his job as an analyst. He's good. He's not bad and he's not good. He does the job. He's exactly.
He's a little vanilla. Vanilla's fine. Vanilla's a flavor.
You can put sprinkles on it. Now here's a guy who's still playing at the top of his game, Mr. Sergei Bobrovsky. You forget that he was all those years ago on the Flyers.
Yeah, and he's now coming towards the end of that long-term deal he signed with the Florida Panthers. I think there's a year left on it now, but that looked like one of the worst free agent signings of all time. And now you look back on it, and the Panthers go to back-to-back Cup final. They win one. Now you just say it's money well spent.
And at the time it was like, what? And then the other part of it too at the time was, why does he want to go to Florida of all places? Because Florida still wasn't a good team at that point. They were starting to bottom out and turn around, but yeah, I mean, he timed it well. He got a good deal. He got a Stanley Cup. He is not regretting his decision to go to the Panthers. That's for sure.
No, and he's one of these. I hate painting with a broad brush here with the Russian guys, but he's a Russian guy who wants to keep as much of his money as he can, so he goes to South Florida, where the weather's perfect throughout the winter, and he could spend his time during the day getting 18 holes in.
And that's the thing. There are certain teams where, even when you're bad, it's look where you get to live. Look how your daily routine is. Anaheim being another one of those. So, yeah, I mean, it could be. It all worked out for him, and he's going to get his number retired one day and all that good stuff by the Panthers. Here's Marian Gaborik here. Remember him coming up there on the wing?
Yeah, Marian Gaborik was a really good player.
Yeah, he was. There were times he had stretches where he would disappear, but overall very good. There's Matt Carl. Another guy still playing here, Ryan McDonough, a young defenseman back then.
Yeah, it's amazing. This game was what, 2012?
Yeah.
13 years later, and you still got some of these guys still going. So,
and then we got two more here. I got Brad Richards, who scored the game winner that game. I think that's the shot of the game winner right there.
That would appear so.
And then last but not least, One of the best goalies in franchise history and one of the best of all time to never get a cup, Henrik Lundqvist.
Yeah, but at least Henry Lundqvist looks good in a suit. That's my big thing with Henry Lundqvist. Like, he's obnoxiously handsome. It's like, not only are you one of the best to ever do it at your position, but also like you could be a male model.
And like,
and also he's a really good guitar player.
And I'm not saying that doesn't take a little bit of work, but like when he rolls out of the bed in the morning, he's still better looking than 98.9% of the population. Like, hair messed up, no. He's still, yeah, must be nice. And he's such like a likable, like easy get it. Like, I've never heard somebody be like, oh, Henrik Lundqvist kind of a jerk off to see. I've never heard that about him.
And you know what? He's underrated, really good on TV in the studio role. Like, you know, I always like to pick on the Rangers, and especially like MSG, for like guys like Valakat being like obnoxious homers. But like I'll watch some of the Ranger post game, like when they have their playoff games, and like Valakat will wave the pom poms and whatnot, and like Lundqvist will be like, no, like the other team actually outplayed you, and like here's X, Y, and Z why the game went the way it did, and like he's actually really good in that role, so I give him a lot of credit.
If you don't like Valakat, at Valley's View, you can go and tell him there if you know if he's a homer. But yeah, Lundqvist great at it. Like, is there so? I want to see Henrik Lundqvist struggle at something. I want to like see video of him like having trouble. I don't know, doing like a simple home repair or putting together a piece of IKEA furniture. No pun intended with the Swedish reference there, but nonetheless, it still works. Like, come on, like I want to see Henrik Lundqvist not do something well. Show us you're human, please. I will say that Winter Classic shootout penalty shot was one of the most like tense like sports moments I've ever experienced in person, and that was really cool because the place got real quiet when he made that save. Like, you heard a few random yells throughout the Citizens Bank Park, but yeah, that was a cool memory. Probably one of my favorite sporting events of all time that I've ever attended. Glad we got to take a little trip down memory lane there. We're gonna get back to hockey later. We'll close with a NHL Figure 5, but right now, I think with spring training going, we got to kick off with some baseball here.
All right, screw it. Yeah, let's rip these packs. Let's go. I already pre-ripped them because they weren't really cooperating when I went to actually rip them. So let's see what we got. And I like the look of these cards already. Riley Green, who had a very nice year with the Detroit Tigers as they went on that magical second half run and got into the playoffs. And this is a Riley Green rookie card as well. So that's a nice early pull here.
Absolutely. And the Tigers are going to be one of those teams. They're going to be a favorite to make the playoffs this year in terms of like people betting on them. I mean, they played well last year. They made some moves in the offseason this year as well. So, you know, they bring in Gleyber Torres. You know, obviously you look at the rotation there, Tariq Skubal, Jack Flaherty, Reese Olson. It's a strong 1 through 3 there.
I never heard of this player, Jose De Palma from the LA Dodgers. Apparently, he's a cousin of Stephon Marbury, according to the back of the card. So, I guess
he's from Coney Island.
He's from Brooklyn, New York.
It's probably Coney Island. He's got to be. That's where Marbury's from. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't the same area.
Yeah. So,
shout out Nathan's.
Yeah, shout out Nathan's. I could go for some hot dogs right about now. Let's see. A new money Elijah Green card. I don't think Elijah Green's really done much of anything, unfortunately. So kind of is what it is. But I like the design of the card.
Yeah, I like that too. Anytime you get clever with that kind of card design, incorporate a dollar bill, whatever, it's always fun.
And one of my all-time favorites, Mike Trout, who hopefully wishing the best for him this year. Hopefully with the move to right field, that he could just stay healthy and continue his Hall of Fame trajectory. Like, he's in the Hall of Fame regardless of whether or not he plays another game or not. But, like, you know, you want to see him get all the records. He's a good guy. He's a good ambassador for the sport. And, you know, it just sucks to kind of see his, you know, him kind of go through like the Ken Griffey Jr. late career injuries are going to destroy any chance of me chasing down any historic numbers. So that just kind of sucks.
So I think he eventually gets a ring somewhere, but does he get it like as a coattail rider, or do you think he maybe gets it somewhere where he still has like an impact on the lineup?
The problem is that contract is so bad at this point. Like, it's not really movable. So unless you're trading bad money for bad money, like where's he going to go to get that ring? And like I know the two obvious spots you would probably say are like Philadelphia and the Yankees, I guess, because they're both in the East Coast. He's from South Jersey, so like the Phillies would be a natural fit there, but I'm not really sure that either team is all that much interested in Mike Trout at this point.
No, I think he's gonna have to bide his time in Anaheim and just be that guy that I'm not gonna say he stays there with his whole career, but he's gonna be one of those what if guys. But I think maybe he gets something before the end. Somebody will throw him a bone at the end of the career, be a pinch hitter off the bench, something like that.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, it really depends, like whether or not he wants to even accept a role like that at the end of his career. And like, he might just to ring chase, he might do that, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, here's an interesting player because he was a subject of trade rumors all winter and then never got traded. Nolan Arenado with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, that was a name that was getting thrown around a lot and ends up staying. And St. Louis obviously didn't have their best season last year, so see what happens.
Yep. All right, and another rookie card, and we got our guy Anthony Volpe here with the New York Yankees. Volpe really, his bat hasn't really. I don't think it's come around quite the way the Yankees were hoping. The first couple years of his career, not that he's been terrible, but like, I think the Yankees kind of thought he was going to be the next A-Rod or Derek Jeter, and he hasn't quite been that to this point either. Although he has been excellent defensively, and he's got speed. He's got good baseball instincts. So, I mean, there's still time for him.
Here's my thing. Like, I understand. I mean, it's not fair to put those kind of expectations on a guy. I understand, like, he was a high pedigree and stuff like that. But sometimes, if a guy's a really good defender, like, Yankees have plenty of bats. I'd rather, like, shortstop initially, if you go back to when we were kids, shortstop was like an 8-9 hitter spot. Like it was a defensive position. Maybe the guy had some speed as like a base stealer or something like that. I'm fine with if Volpe plays like that defensively, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Volpe defensively. I guess my issue is that like the Yankees, obviously a few years ago in free agency, they passed on all those free agent shortstops who are all better hitters than Volpe. And, trying to retroactively redraft is kind of a fool's errand when it comes to the MLB draft. But like they also passed on like Gunnar Henderson in the same draft, who went like 30 picks later, who was also a better player than Volpe. So it's a little frustrating in that respect, but it is what it is.
Yeah, nonetheless, the Yankees still, like we talked about earlier in the show, expected to be one of those top teams in the division and hopefully should win it. And maybe we'll go one step further this year.
All right, so we'll breeze through the rest of these pretty quickly. Jose Ramos with the Dodgers, not really much of anything there. A nice variant card here of a Oswald Peraza rookie card with the Yankees. Maybe we'll see if he could actually win that third baseman job. I think it's probably between him and Oswaldo Cabrera, so we'll see there. And unfortunately, this is not a rookie card, but we do pull Bobby Witt Jr., who is right now the best shortstop in baseball and arguably on the short list for the best player in baseball.
As always, when Bobby Witt Jr. comes up, make sure you send that one to Mr. John and Pembo. I mean, he probably has it, but you never know.
He does. I'm sure
you never
he
know.
has it. All right, I got to be careful of ripping this one so I don't damage the corners. But all right, we just about got these out. I got 2 more packs left, but
sweet. I'm excited.
I mean, there's only
Yankees. We've gotten a few.
There's only 4 or 5 cards per pack, so it is what it is. Michael Harris rookie card, which is nice. He won a Rookie of the Year, so there is that. We like that, and I think the Braves will have a big year this year. Edgar Caro with the LA Angels. Not much to write home about there. We have a numbered card here of Spencer Torkelson. This is 11 of 199.
Okay.
Would have been nice if it was an autograph or something, but Torkelson, he's an interesting player. Like he got sent down last year because he was struggling so much with the offense. He wound up finding his way back to the big leagues. He was better later in the year, and former top prospect. We'll kind of see what he winds up becoming. And one more Tiger in this pack, Javi Baez, who is basically a bench player at this point.
Lots of Yankees, lots of Tigers in these packs.
On a very expensive contract. Well, it's like a couple weeks ago when it was like heavy Mets, Tigers. I forget who the other team was, but yeah, it was very interesting there. Sorry, one last pack here. We have a Christopher Morel rookie card here with the Chicago Cubs. Now he's with the Tampa Bay Rays. Big power bat, but he's kind of like a all or nothing, like swing and miss sort of guy. So,
and he plays everywhere, which I feel like is a very Rays player that can play like second base, third base, outfield, like one of those guys.
But I don't know that he
First
plays
base.
any of those positions particularly well, though. Like I think he plays them all, but like I think he's just kind of his average.
From a fantasy perspective, I like that as a versatility on the bench.
Oh yeah, you definitely like flexibility there. So we have that. We have Samuel Zavala with the San Diego Padres. I'm noticing a trend with these packs. You get like one nice rookie card. You get that one player nobody ever heard of, and then you get a few star caliber players to finish out the pack. Jonathan Mejia, variant card here, nice glossy finish there. Jose Ramirez, who is one of the best players in baseball. I hate the narrative that he's underrated. I just feel like it's lazy now. So Jose Ramirez was underrated like 7 years ago. He's the best. Well, he's one of the best players in baseball. So, let's give the guy his flowers. It's ridiculous.
If you think the guy's underrated, you just haven't been paying attention for like the last decade. That's what that is.
And last but not least, rookie card here, Tristan Casas with the Boston Red Sox. So we do pull one of the rookies that was on the graphic that you so eloquently produced.
So there you go. So you got a numbered Spencer Torkelson. You got a Casas rookie. You got a couple of Yankees. You got a Volpe. I mean, listen, nothing that's going to make you a ton of money in that pack, but overall, not too bad.
We'll gladly take the rookie cards that we pulled in that pack.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm okay with that. I like the look of those cards too. Like I may actually want to go out and get some of those. Was that a ToyWiz.com purchase?
They usually are. Yes. I thought they would be like the chrome, but these are just the platinum. So that's what I get for ordering these cards at like 3:30 in the morning and not really reading it. But yeah, it was like a $35 box, something like that.
Not too bad. Not bad at all. And you still got a few more, I feel like. Let's go backwards chronologically here. We started with some 2023 Bowman Platinum Baseball. We're going to go now. We haven't done football in a couple of weeks, so let's get back to that here. We've got 2002 Topps NFL. We got 10 cards here. Let's pull that over here. All right, so these are going to be very, very green cards here. Let me get the camera situated. It's all a little messed up from the oversized cards earlier. There we go.
Very green in the sense that like the raw rookie potential are green, like the color green.
Color green, like the back of the card. Let's put one up on the screen right now. We start off with a Johnny Morton transaction. So, fancy way of us saying a traded card going from the Lions to the Chiefs.
I recall Johnny Morton as a player. I don't recall that particular move.
He was a good wide receiver. He was a good like second, third option there. Let's get the little wrapper in there.
That's right around the time I started getting in like fantasy football as well. So obviously I remember Johnny Morton, but
same. Yeah, that's 2002. That's sophomore year in college for me. End of freshman year, beginning of sophomore year. All right, there we go. Next up on the list, Eagles fans just won the Super Bowl there. So they remember A.J. Feely. Maybe not pleasant memories of him, but there he is.
I mean, I feel like he was a quality backup quarterback in the league.
Yeah, that's what he amounted to be. Let's see here.
He got traded to the Dolphins and was a starter briefly, and then that turned out that didn't work. And that was one of those classic like Eagles, like we're going to sell high on this guy, and even though like he's not very good.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that like he's a backup, but maybe he could be a starter, but he's like a fringe like 33rd starter in the league kind of guy. Go breeze through a few of these here. We got Jawan Dawson from the Cleveland Browns. Let's see here. We got Troy Hambrick from the Dallas Cowboys. Let's see here. Marvin Minnis, I believe he went by Snoop Minnis, if I recall correctly.
I mean, if you could go by the name Snoop, I don't see why not. It's certainly worked for the rapper.
Let's see here. We got Brandon Bennett.
I don't know what to say to that. That was a weird setup by you.
It was, and you did a good job with it. This pack, not a great pack, but we will have one good guy at the end here. We do have a Dante Stallworth rookie, was a decent receiver, but then I believe he was involved in a drunk driving incident. Let's see here. All right, let's close the pack. We got Michael Bennett, not really great, but we got 3 good cards to close the pack here. We'll start with another transaction card. It's not Rocket Ishmael, but it's Kadri Ishmael.
Kadri Ishmael is one of my dudes. He's one of my go-to sports radio. Hey, I need someone to come on and talk about the Baltimore Ravens, and he does the pre and post game for him, and he's always willing to come on. So shout out to Kadri. I love that dude.
And here's the thing: he's a good analyst. He was a good possession receiver. Like he had a few years there where he was very reliable, very good. We're gonna pull him up here on Pro Football Reference. I want to see if he ever had a 1,000-yard season. I feel like he did. He was in the league for like almost a decade.
He probably did, and he was on the Ravens team in 2000 that won the Super Bowl as well.
2,000-yard seasons, 1,1105, and then in 2001, 1059. So 2,000+ yard receiving seasons there. Reliable in Minnesota and Baltimore. He played on both of those, and he had to stop with the Colts and the Dolphins and the Saints in between too. But a good player there.
Yeah, very good player.
All right, we got 2 more to go here. Hall of Famer, but playing for the rival of the team you probably remember him with, Rod Woodson, longtime Steeler, played with the Raiders too, I believe, and there he is as he finished his career with Baltimore.
If you're a Steelers fan, you were probably sick to your stomach seeing Rod Woodson win a Super Bowl with the Ravens, right? Like,
yeah,
because you have to also remember this is pre like the Ben Roethlisberger Steeler teams that won the Super Bowl, and the Steelers, I guess, hadn't won a Super Bowl since the 70s at that point. So, like, to see one of your guys, one of your all-time greats go and win a Super Bowl with another team, like, as a Giants fan, I can't imagine what that feeling feels like.
And I got it backwards. He went to Baltimore and then finished in Oakland. He also had to stop with the 49ers. I forgot about. But yeah, like to see a guy like I'm a big proponent of like you try to not trade a guy in your division because that's the last thing you want to see. And like obviously that wasn't a trade. Like he had signed there and all that after the fact. But yeah, to watch, like you said, the Steelers, they got to the playoffs a lot in that era. They got to a couple of conference.
They got to the one Super Bowl with Neil O'Donnell.
Yeah, like they were in the AFC every year. They had they had really good defenses back then. That was the thing I remember. Greg Lloyd, LeVon Kirkland, Rod Woodson, but just can never get over the hump. And then to watch them go and win with a team like Baltimore, that's got a sting. Now we're gonna close this pack. It's not anything special, but it is a 2002 Tom Brady card. So anytime you pull a legend like that, even if it's just a plain old base card, that's always nice.
What the hell has Tom Brady ever done in this league?
I mean, let's talk about what he's doing now in the league. How do you feel about how he did as an analyst this year overall? I think for a first-year guy, I think Kevin Burkhardt did a good job with him, in the booth. I think he's a guy that if he did it for a couple of years, he could be really, really good. I don't know if he's going to want to do it for a couple of years. I know he's got to do his contract with Fox, but I don't know if he's like, okay, I'm going to do my time with Fox and like I don't want to travel every week anymore. If this is like something he wants to get good at and become like a Tony Romo, somebody that's been around for a while.
I think guys like Tom Brady are wired to where they don't want to do something, certainly something that's as public as being the number one play-by-play color analyst on the NFL broadcast team for a network. They don't want to do that and suck at it. Like if they're going to do it, they want to be good at it, and they want to. And I think there are a lot of challenges there with Tom Brady this year, with a lot of because he's also the minority owner with the Raiders. There's a lot of restrictions that are built in. I'm not saying that's really an excuse, and I think a lot of that stuff can be a little overrated, but I think it's also a bit of an uphill battle, and we also live in an era where it's 2025. Everyone's on social media and everyone shits on everything, regardless of whether it's good or not. So I think there was a lot of that with Tom Brady as well this year. I thought for the most part he was fine, okay. I can't imagine a bigger waste of money than a network paying their top color analyst $30-something million a year to call the NFL games because nobody actually cares who's doing the games. That's something these suits haven't quite figured out. Like, we would watch the games regardless of, I hate throwing the name out there just because it sounds like I'm disparaging, but I'm really not. But like, you can put Ross Tucker in that spot for
He's great on the air.
And Ross is very good at what he does, but like Ross Tucker's
he's not Tom Brady.
Correct.
Yeah.
And like the broadcast would be just as fine, if not better, because Ross Tucker obviously is very well prepared and he's very good at what he does.
So the thing that Brady can't really be involved in a lot of the meetings because of his ownership with the Raiders, I think for a guy like him, doesn't matter that much because he's one of the best of all time. So like, I don't know if he really needs to get like these inside scoops of like what teams are doing that week. Like the play-by-play guy like Burkhardt, absolutely. Brady can probably just show up to a game and just break it down and analyze it. Like if you remember at the beginning of Tony Romo's career, he was calling plays out like before they even happened. Like he probably could have did that without ever even being in a meeting. These guys know, they've played recently. They know what they're doing. They know how to read the game. So that part I think was a little overrated, but that's what I'm curious is like, okay, you made the point that if he's going to do this, he's going to want to be the best. I totally agree. Some guys just get used to that travel schedule where they know, okay, like every Thursday we're going on, flying to wherever I'm calling a game that weekend, blah, blah, blah. Some guys get tired of it now that he's got the Raiders ownership, maybe morph into that after his Fox contract. I don't know, but I think
if you ask me right now, do I think Tom Brady sees the end of that Fox contract? I would actually probably say no.
That's
just because he's got so many other things going on, including the Raiders ownership. But like, it's a ton of money they're paying him. Like, and he's not bad at the job. Like I think there's a perception out there that like he's terrible. I don't think he's terrible.
He's not terrible.
I just don't think he's great. And I think if you're Tom Brady, you want to be great at everything you do.
Yeah, and again, it's his first season doing it. It's just because he's the best of all time at being a quarterback on the field, that doesn't mean he's going to automatically step into being one of the best of all time in his first season. And like you said, first year wasn't bad, wasn't great. It was fine. It was adequate. Year two, now that he's gone through a season of it and all that, we'll see how he does next year. But
better than Drew Brees was, and Drew Brees is looking to get back in.
Yeah, Drew Brees was not that good. I did not enjoy him at all. But yeah, Tom Brady, that one will have to go in a little bit of protection there because it is a Brady card. Now let's do a little hoops. We haven't done that much hoops lately. How do you feel? NBA All-Star break was last week. That format, some people liked it, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty terrible. And NBA is kind of in a little bit of a crisis right now, I feel like, because now like they're in danger of hockey passing them in popularity right now, especially after what came out of the Four Nations. I wouldn't say it's like close, but there's a lot of good press about hockey, and I haven't heard a good thing about the NBA all year.
The NBA has a lot of problems between the load management and the fact that you never know if any star player is going to play on any given night, and the fact the 82 game season's a slog, and even the great teams in the league, like the Celtics. Like the Celtics are one of those teams where the regular season's kind of like whatever, they get bored by it and they ramp it up in the regular season when they have to. Like they'll play well against the good teams, like they like yesterday against the Knicks, and beat them down just to sort of prove a point. But like they're kind of going through the motions until they get to game one of a playoff series. So it kind of what it is. Like the regular season couldn't mean anything less right now, and it's a major issue for Adam Silver, and I don't know what he does to fix it.
Well, I think you stepped on an interesting point that, well, not stepped on, but brought an interesting point, because you said like a team like the Celtics knows just play well through the season, make sure you get one of the top seeds, and then worry about like the Warriors learn that, and that during their dynasty that like, okay, we just need to make sure we have home court at least in the first round or two, and then we'll deal with everything else from there. Yeah, it's a problem because it's you got Charles Barkley that openly admits during TNT broadcasts, I wasn't really watching this. I was watching the Kings Golden Knights game on a different TV. That's a problem.
You got Draymond Green during the All-Star game, one of their marquee events, talking about how much the format sucks. Like it's wild.
Yeah, it's a problem. And some people are like, oh, blah blah blah. That's not as bad as this. It's like, no, like the sport is boring now. Like I can't stand like throwing up a 3-point shot with 18 seconds left on the shot clock, just coming down the floor and for no reason. There's very few, Steph Curry can do that. There are shooters that can do that. Most of the league can't do that.
A big part of the problem is a lot of these teams are playing the same style, which is just jack up a million threes, because that's
what it's
the NBA
become.
is another one of those sports where analytics is kind of ruining it, because that's what the analytics say to do. It's like, just go and shoot a million 3-pointers, because 3-point shot's worth more than a 2-point shot, which, by the way, I don't need analytics to tell me that. I understand how basic math works.
So wait, you mean if I take this shot from a little bit further away, I get an extra point? That's right. How that works?
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's fucking weird.
What'll they think of next? I don't know. But here we go. And I got to be honest, there's some bricking in this pack, and some of the players I'm seeing right out of the pack. There's not going to be any pulls of the day from this one, that's for sure. We start with an Anthony Avent with the Orlando Magic there. Don't love the design of this pack card. Pretty basic there, but it is glossy. I do like the signature.
It very much is basic, and it's a little tough to read who the players are, unfortunately, with this font. Maybe it's just that one card, but
no. Even looking at it, it's tough to read, and I'm looking at the card 2 inches. Now I probably need glasses, but that's a whole other thing. Let's see here. We got Greg Graham from the Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers, man, you talk about a team that has fallen extremely short of expectations. Like, I'm not a big NBA guy, but even I know what the 76ers are doing this year is atrocious.
And Joel Embiid is sort of emblematic of what I was talking about with a lot of the problems with the NBA. You have no idea if and when he's going to play. He's been hurt all year. I mean, he's a big guy who's been dealing with knee issues, and he's got a history of knee issues. And there's a lot of bad PR, bad juju with him going in the year. Like, he's healthy enough to play in the Olympics, but he's not healthy enough to play for the Sixers, who are paying him $70 million a year, or whatever the heck they're paying him. And like, he's barely played this year. He's made no impact on the court, and now, you know, him and the team are trying to figure out like the best option moving forward in regards to his knee. So it doesn't look like he's going to be back on the court playing anytime soon. And it sucks, because like, Embiid's fun to watch when he's playing and he's going well, but dude never plays. It's like Kawhi Leonard. Dude never plays.
But please go on and tell me that you're better than Hakeem Olajuwon, who played pretty much every game every year. Please tell me that you're better than him, though. Yeah, that's what annoys me. It's like, dude, you can't talk about being better than people when you're never on the floor. And I listen, and I'm not saying basketball is not a hard sport. I'm not saying it's not taxing. But like, you can't, and it's a 90-foot floor you're running up and down. I know it's not easy on your knees running on a hardwood floor like that night in and night out. But like, if NHL players can play 3 out of 4 nights in a row, and all of a sudden this country got an awakening to hockey over the last week and a half here with the 4 nations, and even they're saying, but like, you can't play 2 basketball games in 3 nights. Like, come on now, get out of here.
Right, and NHL players make a lot less than NBA players.
Correct.
And even though the NHL regular season games are nowhere near as physical as like the 4 Nations games were, like, it's still a much more physical sport than the NBA. Like, it's not even up for discussion.
I mean, if we're talking early 90s NBA, like, it gets a lot closer, sure. I mean, that was back when if you went to the lane,
NBA though.
Not in today's NBA. And like, people would be like, "Oh, you're an old head. That was boring." No. That was basketball. You drive the lane, open up the outside, so you could take uncontested threes. I don't know. That's the basketball I prefer watching, and it's why I haven't watched in a very long time. I watch college. You can throw a random college game on, and I'll keep that on. Gary Grant here with the Clippers. Shout out Ed Rouse to his Clippers. Let's see here. It's not a great pack. LaFonso Ellis, very good player, but not doing much here for us on this. We got NBA coach here, Scott Brooks. Not looking that much different as a coach as he did as a player there. Looks like he hasn't really aged.
It looks like he's eating the basketball.
I mean, it could be yummy. You don't know. Let's see. We got Kenny Gaddison, very good college player in his day. Picture with the Charlotte Hornets there. Shout out Eric Fenton, Sherman Douglas with the Celtics. Good shooter. He would have had a good career in today's NBA. He was a very good shooter. Yeah, this pack blows. Michael Williams with the T-Wolves. All right, we got here. Okay, we can at least have a couple of fun ones here on the way out. We got Bobby Hurley with the Sacramento Kings. Where's he coaching now, Bobby Hurley? I forget.
Bobby Hurley, Arizona State, I want to say.
Yes, Arizona State. There we go. See what they do. I don't know. I have no idea if they're going to be involved with March Madness or not. I don't pay that close attention. Another guy who is a coach somewhere potentially, or maybe he's no longer a coach, Avery Johnson.
I feel like he's coaching somewhere, but I couldn't tell you. Maybe
he's a commentator right now.
Oh, okay, so I guess he's not coaching right now.
I believe he was the previous coach of Alabama, and things have gotten a little bit better since he's been the coach there for the Crimson Tide on the hardwood.
Well, they hired a better coach in Nate Oates, so yeah, I totally get it.
Now we have, you talk about big busts in the NBA. There is Sean Bradley, who I believe was also 7'6" and wore the number 76.
Yeah, and also inexplicably was in Space Jam.
Because at the time it was like he was George Mirasan before George Mirasan. You know, just like the big guy out there, like, oh, he's so big, he's so close to the rim. He's going to have a huge career because he's just taller than everybody else. Like, besides Manute Bol, of course. But
how many people do you think they called and said no before Sean Bradley said yes to Space Jam? Because he's not turning that down.
No, of course not. I mean, if you're Sean Bradley, you got to realize that, hey, my cash cow is not going to last long. I got to jump. I got to take advantage of it while I can. Be in a movie with Michael Jordan? Sure, I'm in.
And he's probably still getting like those residual checks for like $2.11 to this day.
Yeah, I mean, so like, what other big men from that? What did they turn it down? Kevin Duckworth is turning it down. I don't think so. Like, what other random big guys from that? Because I mean, was Patrick Ewing in Space Jam? I forget. No,
he was in Space Jam. It was Ewing, Barkley, Muggsy Bogues, and I can't remember the other one. Was it Larry Johnson? Was Grandmama in it?
That sounds right. Now
I don't know. I'll look it up while you're talking.
That actually is an interesting segue to the last card of the pack in my hand, because
Grandmama.
No, because the guy who definitely did not get a call after strangling a coach after practice, Latrell Sprewell, did not get a call to be in Space Jam.
No, he did not. I can't imagine why you would want him in that. Yeah, that was the 5. It was Barkley, Bogues, Sean Bradley, Ewing, and Johnson.
Wow, which one doesn't belong? I mean, Muggsy Bogues had a very, very good career.
Yeah, I mean? And by the way, there were plenty of other NBA players that made cameos in that movie as well, but they weren't part of the 5 that got all the talent sucked out of them.
Right. I mean, for Bradley, it didn't take as long as the other ones. That's for sure. That was a much quicker talent sucking process. That was the one they just squeezed in at the end. Like, we don't need much time on that one.
Right. Well, I bet a lot of these players said, wait, what? You want to take my talent away? No, I'm not going to do that. I'll just make a cameo. Like, I bet Alonzo Mourning was like, I want no part of that. No, thank you.
No, because what if no. There we go. And then Latrell Sprewell, all-star there to close the pack. I did like the era when they used to wear it like that. Again, the all-star game, people were crapping on it. I know there was no defense in the all-star games, growing up, but I just felt like they were more competitive games. Like, somebody like Michael Jordan didn't care. He didn't care if it was an exhibition. He did not want to lose, so he'd go out there and play. And that people talk about the pride that like USA and Canada played with. It's an exhibition, but for their country. The All-Star game used to be like that in the NBA too. Maybe they're not going 110%, but they were going 95%.
I didn't really watch NBA All-Star games back in the era, so I can't really. I'm not really the best person to judge it. I do wonder if we're sort of misremembering or glorifying the All-Star game back in the days, back in the 90s and whatnot, in that era you're talking about, versus what the All-Star game has sort of become in the NBA in the last 10, 15 years, because I can't imagine that, like, rando NBA, like, yeah, I'm sure Michael Jordan tried, and I'm sure he cared because he's, just
psycho,
the most competitive guy out there. But I'm sure there's also plenty of NBA guys who are just like, I just want to get through this weekend and get to my vacation or get to the next city. So
Yeah, you're
I
right.
don't
There's
know.
probably a little nostalgia there at play, but you know.
Right. And nostalgia might cloud the mind there a little bit. It might cloud your memories a little bit, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I also don't remember people talking about the All-Star game sucking as much back then either. Now, granted, it wasn't,
Right, but it's not the era of social media, and it's not
media.
the
Yeah,
era. It's not 2025, like I said earlier, where everyone just looks to crap on everything.
what they do. But yeah, time for poll of the day. I don't have many options here, so I'm gonna make it nice and easy. There we go. Tom Brady, Latrell Sprewell All-Star card. Obviously, it's gonna be Brady there. That's my winner for the day. What do you got, Jared?
I'm going to go with some of my rookie card pulls here. Riley Green was a good one. I guess I'll go with the pair of Yankees here, with Volpe and Oswald Peraza, as the pulls of the day there. Since I am a bit of a homer, I will go with the Yankees, and um, I'm hoping Peraza wins that third base job, just because I feel like, he hasn't really been able to kind of get the major league career going, in part just because he really hasn't hit enough the few opportunities he's gotten at the major league level. But I just don't want to see DJ LeMahieu at third base anymore. And I feel like
No.
that's sort of where this is heading. And I mean, the Yankee third base problem might be something that they just try to get by the first 3 months until they address it at the All-Star break, which or address at the trade deadline, which I would guess is how it ultimately plays out. But I'd like to see a homegrown guy like actually take the position and run with it. So, and like Oswald, there's an Oswald and an Oswaldo, and try not to mix the two of them up when you're talking about them. Oswaldo Cabrera, I feel like decent player, but kind of has a limited ceiling. Kind of is what he is, and there's a little more of the unknown there with Oswald Peraza. So, kind of hoping for the good things there.
We should just call one Oz and one Ozzy and call it a day. Let's shorten it and make it easy. There we go.
I guess, but whatever.
All right. So we've run the gamut of sports here. We started showing off some hockey cards. We're going to finish with a starting lineup figure 5 that comes from the ice. And that's basically all Jared's going to get here. The one hint I will give is this is one that we've tried to open up in the past. So,
oh Jesus, oh man,
no, I think you're gonna be okay. I think you're gonna be okay. I think we're gonna get this one. But without further ado, question of 5 to figure out who's in the box.
Who's in the box? Okay. I'm trying to remember some of the players that we haven't opened before to try to narrow it down a little further. But the problem is I don't pay attention to this show, so it's like I go into this every time with Alzheimer's or something. I'm not trying to joke about Alzheimer's, but you know what I mean.
Oh, you know what it is? You have one of those Men in Black like memory devices. Somehow happens, right after the show for you.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go a little off the beaten path here because the Four Nations just wrapped up. Has this player won an Olympic gold medal?
I would have to actually check if he won. Let me see if he was on a specific team. Can't say which team, but I believe he has, yes. Just want to verify that. No, I don't think he has won a gold medal, actually. Not at an Olympic gold, no.
Okay. That didn't really help me.
Decorated career. No gold.
No, of course. Let's see. Has this player played at any point in his career for the Detroit Red Wings?
No.
Is this player American?
He is not.
Is this player a forward?
Yes.
All right, I got one question left. Here's what we know so far. Really setting the scene here. This player does not have an Olympic gold medal as far as we know.
No.
He is not American.
No.
He did not play for the Detroit Red Wings. But he is a forward.
Yes. The big one here. I don't know how close you are.
I don't know how close I am either. I don't think I'm very close at all. I'm just going to ask a very specific question here. Okay. Is this player in the Hockey Hall of Fame?
Yes, for sure.
All right, I don't really have a good guess, so I'm just going to throw a random name out there. Is it Joe Sakic?
Ooh, that one's close, but unfortunately, no cigar. He is Mr. Mark Messier. He did not get selected for 98 when the Czech Republic won the gold, and then he wasn't on the 2002 team either because he was too old and the game had passed him by then.
You know what? Mark Messier can stay in the fucking box.
Wow. How do you really feel? By the way, speaking of, we talked about Tom Brady earlier. Messier, fantastic job as a studio analyst there for ESPN. Hall of Famer, 6-time Cup winner, 5-time All-Star, 2-time Hart winner, 2-time Pearson winner, but no Olympic gold. Mark Messier, that is the one thing missing from his mantle.
I'm a little surprised by that. But what was the first year they sent the NHL players to the Olympics? Because that's 98. Probably why he didn't have Olympic gold. 98 was the first year?
98, and he was omitted from the team. He did not get, I actually have it up here. You know who else was omitted from that team? Ron Francis, Adam Oates, and your guy, Scott Niedermayer, did not make the 98 Olympic team for Canada. Maybe that's why they lost to the Czech Republic.
Who the hell did they put on that Olympic team that they left Scott Niedermayer off?
All right, so on the blue line, you had Rob Blake, Ray Bourque, Eric Desjardins, who was very good back then, Al McInnes, Chris Pronger, Scott Stevens.
And did that team win gold?
No, they failed to win bronze. They lost to Finland in the bronze medal game. Czech Republic beat, I forget who that year. I want to say Russia.
Maybe they should have taken one of the best NHL defensemen of his era, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, maybe, also Messier was still a very good player at that point. So not sure why they wouldn't take him. Looking at some of the forwards on that team, I mean, that's the thing. It goes back to being Team Canada. Like, okay, like you can make a second Team Canada team that would still be better than the bulk of the league. You had Gretzky, Corson, Theo Fleury. Oh, Adam Foote, another defenseman on that team. I went over him. Let's see. Trevor Linden, Eric Lindros, Joe Nieuwendyk, Keith Primo, Mark Recchi, Joe Sakic, Brendan Shanahan, Steve Yzerman, Rob Zaminer. And your goalies were Patrick Roy, Martin Brodeur, and who was the third one that I scrolled over? Curtis Joseph. Not bad.
No, it's a loaded team. It's Team Canada. It's always going to be loaded. It is kind of funny though. You read the goaltenders of that era, and then now you look at the goaltenders of this era, and I get everybody's Sean Binnington, but he ultimately came through when it mattered. Like he made the big saves in that overtime, and they ultimately won the tournament. So, like, how can you say like he shouldn't be the starter?
And the other thing too that people kind of glaze over is that first goal he let up in the round robin Team USA game was a softie. Like he wasn't going to let one. They weren't going to get a gift like that again. That first one, like that was one of those where like you saw it immediately, I'm like, oh, he has to have that, and then like you see the replay and it's like, oh, he definitely needed to have that one. But hey, that happens sometimes. But starting lineup, Figure 5 audience, the starting lineup studio audience. Speaking of the Four Nations. Canada won, got to give them their props. So the theme this week is Canadians representing Canadian franchises. Got Theo Fleury from the 98 extended series, Felix the Cat Potvin from the 95 starting lineup series, Patrick Waugh from the 93 series, and then Mark Messier there with the 98 classic doubles. That one came with a Wayne Gretzky. So there you go. We'll not have anybody new joining the audience next week. We'll see what theme I decide to come up with.
Oh no. Oh no.
Nobody knew.
Can't
Nobody
possibly
knew.
have Mark Messier in a Canucks jersey.
No. Can't have
I'm sure
it.
Canucks fans are torn up.
It's sad. I mean, there's going to be a noticeable depression coming out of Pacific Northwest. Besides Seattle, it's going to be a little north of there. It's going to be in Vancouver because there's no Messier starting lineup figure coming out of the box next week. Jared, what do we got coming on? We got Jared Moore YouTube Poker. What do we got at Jared Moore Poker?
Yeah, we're I literally just before we hopped on here today recorded a month's worth of VO for a whole bunch of shorts. I still need to produce a said shorts, but we'll get to that. And then for allaboutthejersey.com, been writing a lot about trade deadline forwards and whatnot because Tom Fitzgerald is very good at saying exactly what the Devils need to do and then doing nothing for 3 months to address it, which is really annoying as a fan when you know like you need to go out and do something. But not that I'm saying they're not going to make any moves at the deadline, but there are forwards out there that I think could help, and I try to cover the gamut on them, and I throw some trade proposals out there that are going to make people mad online. So that'll be fun.
I'm gonna have to check that out. Now, as much as I love doing Total Hockey, now this is not going to be a great episode this week because Mr. Christopher Merez.
Has he finally settled down?
I think he finally, his fingers finally decided they needed a break. Nonetheless, I'm gonna have to take my comeuppance on that show this week, which should be coming out on Thursday.
You know what though? You're gonna get off relatively easy. Like it's the Tommy Laurens of the world who are gonna get it rough from him, and you know what? Deservedly so, because these people suck.
I mean, I picked Canada to win. A lot of they didn't have Cal McCarr the first time they had him back. I seen online somewhere that like, oh, it was unpatriotic if you didn't pick American. It's like, no, the goal is to win money. So you pick the guy you think is going to win, or the team you think is going to win. But nonetheless, we'll also look. Trade deadline's not that far away in the NHL. That's coming up. That's right around the corner. So we'll take a look at that. But for at Mr. Jared Moore, I am Pucking Thoughts at Pucking Thoughts Adam Bernard. Back with you next month with a new episode of Rip N Riff. We're already in March, Jared. I can't believe it. But we'll be back.
My God.
Yeah, March Madness right here. But we're back with you next week. All new episode of Rip N Riff here on the Rip N Riff YouTube channel.